Hello, welcome to Subjective Insights. Right, I know a lot of my channel is more philosophical in content, often quite spiritual, and now it's becoming more of a kind of talking head, and I'll talk about the stuff that I'm into, like weight training, getting strong and stuff like that, and the realizations I get from that. And some people might be like, oh, why aren't you staying faithful to talking about non-duality and all this kind of stuff? And it's because, right, once you kind of see non-duality and you understand it, like everything else, it's just a doctrine, it's just words, you become like, oh, okay, so that's the truth. Now what am I going to spend my time doing? I spent my time for a long time trying to understand reality on like the deepest level. Not to sound big-headed, but I think I have. I think it is non-duality. But once you climb the mountain, what do you do? Do you just stay up there on top of that mountain, just sit there in the lotus position, thinking to yourself, I understand it all. I can just sit here doing fuck all now for the rest of my life. Or what I can do, I can go down to the bottom of the mountain and go all the way back up again, and then back down to the bottom and all the way back up again. But when you're at the top of that mountain, any mountain, and they're all the same height really, because to be fair, deep down we all know this is true. We're alive, we want to do stuff, so we find excuses to do stuff. That's it. And that's what problems are really. They're not really problems in a real sense, because most of you have got food and drink, haven't you, and shelter over your head. You ain't got any problems. Your existence is not immediately threatened. And you've got a reasonable amount of assurity that over the next couple of months that you're going to get enough food and shelter and blah, blah, blah. I mean, there's some kids in Africa who have problems. You know, there are people in the world that have problems. But us in this country, apart from if you're homeless, we don't have problems. We don't. We kind of tickle ourselves with a feather and then go, oh no, it itches, I gotta scratch it now, just because we want to scratch. It's the truth. Yeah, where was I going with this? So yeah, you get to the top of that mountain. You can either just stay there, some people do. They kind of make a career out of it. And even then, like Eckhart Tolle, right, and a lot of these people that make a career out of preaching the non-dual message, that's their job. And they're getting paid for sitting there being all like, well, nothing. Nothing exists. Hello, Mr. Speaker. What's the meaning of life? They're getting paid to respond like this. Just to be. And I bet you, right, behind closed doors, when they're living their lives, they like a good fuck, a good feed. Just like the rest of us. They got different activities they do. I bet you Rupert Spiro doesn't spend his entire day sat in front of the window looking out and being all like, I bet he plays billiards or something like that, I know. I mean, why not? And so you climb up that mountain, right? You climb up that mountain and you look around and you see, oh, there are other mountains to climb. I don't just have to stick to Kilimanjaro. I can give Everest a crack. I can give Ben Nevis a go. You know, I can even try doing some scuba diving. There's not just mountains to climb. There's a whole range of possibilities to get done. And so, like, I kind of think I've lived life in reverse a bit in this sense. Like most people spend the first half of their life physically. You know, they're more athletic. They do all those kind of things then. And then when they're old and doddery and can't really do much, then they get down on their kind of understanding side of things. So I flipped it round. But that's what I'm doing now. I'm enjoying being a body, you know. Getting big old muscles. It's fun. Getting stronger. That's what I'm into. Yeah, I still read a bit every now and then. But it's kind of like things repeat themselves. And even in the intellectual playground, the kind of dialectical patterns of thought repeat themselves. And so I think one of my problems was that I was trying to maintain a kind of sedentary lifestyle where I would sit down and read a lot. And this would then make me go into things like cannabis and stuff like that to fuel that. Whereas the agitation I was experiencing given that lifestyle was the prod to push me on to the next stage in my life, which was to really be a body. Goodbye.